Hi everybody, it's the Honorable Reverend Dr. Stewart Swerdlow
You forgot father.
and Father.
An ambassador, or did you say
I'm
that?
going to get to that, I'll
Oh.
tell them later, it's a
All
surprise.
right. And Janet Diane Moya Swerdlow.
For the news podcast of expansions.com, and this is what? This is the first week of November? Oh, it's my birthday week. Oh, did I get presents? No.
Some people gave you presents.
Not these people.
How do you know?
Because nothing came in the mail.
It didn't?
No. Unless you know something I don't know.
One thing came in the mail.
What?
I haven't told you.
Is it expensive?
I don't know. I didn't open it. It's your present.
Well, you can give it to me.
I know. I forgot.
Okay, and here's another thing. Because people have been complaining that they don't like our banter. Well, like 3 people said that. And that, of course, they said I'm much prettier than you and they only want to see me. And then there are other foolish people who think they only want you and not me. So I had a discussion with some people at the seminar, and they think that we're okay the way we are. So deal with it.
So we are who we are.
Right. And of course, because I have been traveling for a bit of time, I haven't had a moment to really prepare news for this particular podcast. So instead, I will discuss my experiences. And then I will comment obnoxiously on your own news, okay? How about that one?
I, the person that people have written about that, I look always unhappy and abused.
Are you?
That's
wait, look. Oh, now you can write to the news that I abused you.
Me too.
Seriously, that's another thing.
Hashtag. Hashtag me too. He touched my shoulder.
Right,
it was sexual offense.
Oh wait, you brushed my shoulder. I was raped.
You were?
Serious? That's what's on the news. Like every woman and man that you go like, oh, he raped me. Get over it, okay? And then wait 40 years till you say anything about it. Seriously, it's ridiculous.
Well, they're focusing people there instead of here. That's the kind of
just absolutely ridiculous. For example, there was this one news reporter, I'm not going to name names, who she said last summer her 18-year-old son was at a party with Kevin Spacey, and according to the son, he put his hands down his pants, and he said, Kevin Spacey raped me. No, he didn't. He touched you.
Well,
that's
not only
rape.
that, listen to me. If somebody's putting their hand down your pants...
That's not a rape.
No,
sorry.
Stop right there. If somebody's putting their hands
It's
down...
not appropriate. It's not right.
I'm not done. They're interrupting me obnoxiously like they're complaining about it. So I'm not done.
I told you I would.
If somebody is putting their hand down your pants, you know it.
Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to smack them and tell them no.
Right, exactly.
Right? And to get their hand out of there.
Right. He was 18, he wasn't 8.
Right, exactly. So my point being is you cannot rape somebody with their hand down your pants unless you sit there and you allow it. So therefore, if somebody touches you inappropriately, that is your opportunity to say no, smack them, hit them, get them away from you, because if you're being assaulted in some way, you have the right to defend yourself.
What about these women that say, well, I went to his apartment and I had a few drinks and then he touched me and raped me? Well, you went to his apartment, you had drinks, what did you think was going to happen?
Point being is, don't put yourself in front of a moving bus, you're going to get hit.
I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
Yes, so obviously he should not have done that if that's what happened.
I don't believe 90% I don't believe
But let's just say if it did, you still put yourself in front of a moving bus. So you don't put yourself in front of a moving bus because there's a good chance you're going to get hit. So
like
everybody's got responsibility.
Like I said a few weeks ago, if you go in a crowded elevator and your back brushes against a woman's breast, you raped her.
No, but I'm just telling you that there is responsibility for your actions here. So there are a lot of things that shouldn't happen.
Who's bothering
You're
you?
interrupting me obnoxiously
Sorry. Oh,
again.
did I abuse you? Sorry.
So I'm just explaining to you. You have to take responsibility. So all these things you're reading about to me is ridiculous. I mean, we all do things. We all make mistakes. We all, been there, done that, shouldn't have. And that's what life is about learning to not make the same mistake twice.
Right.
So if you put yourself in the line of fire, you are going to have problems. If you play with fire, you're going to get burned. That's an old saying. So
and quite honestly, if you're involved in politics or you're involved in the entertainment industry, this is part of it. Normal.
Right.
Not that it's right, But that's
correct.
what happens.
Yes, and so people who do this, they make choices, and maybe because they needed to further their career, so they did this and then they did
Right.
that, and now they feel
You know.
pressured and they're sorry they did it or whatever.
Just if you're a cowboy and you join a rodeo and you get muddy, you can't blame the bull for making you dirty.
Exactly, or throwing you off.
Right.
Or stepping on you. It's just, you have to take responsibility for your actions. So this is life. It is the journey of life. We all make error in judgment, and we all have to accept responsibility for
That's
the error
it.
in judgment that we made.
That's the thing.
Okay?
That's the thing. And quite honestly, nobody should touch a child under any circumstances,
Absolutely.
and I agree with that.
Children
when
can't
these
decide.
adults are together, they're adults.
Right. If they're 18 and they let somebody put their hand down their pants, that's not rape. You
Right.
have
He
the
could take the
opportunity.
pan. He's like, hey, get your freaking hands out
Right.
of my
I would be
pants.
smacking somebody if they tried it.
Or knee
They
in
would.
in the groin or something.
They would be sorry if they ever tried to do
Yeah,
that
not
with me.
don't wait,
Trust me.
years later and say, "Oh, he raped me." Please
Right.
stop it. Just
Exactly.
stop it.
And then, as long as you're on a rant, do you want to address this thing?
Oh, the Mandela effect.
Yeah, I talked about that on my news.
Yeah,
and I
you know-
see you responded to that on one of the YouTube posts.
I've heard this for years already. There's no such thing, people, as the Mandela effect. I've stated this over and over. Please stop writing to me and asking me what it is or what it's about. I told you it doesn't exist.
Well, and their head is part of mind control brainwashing
That's
crap.
it's basically an side effect of the CERN trying to collapse realities into this one, and there's sometimes bleed throughs with certain things, but it doesn't exist.
And not only that, and people are writing, well, you have to look at 4D and 5D and 6D. There is no 4D,
No,
5D,
it's all
6D.
one. It's all 1D, okay?
Right.
Except for my double D's here, but
Yeah,
other than that.
that's sexual harassment of me.
Excuse me, I
You
just
are
abused myself.
and
I
you're
abused myself.
You can marry yourself now and abuse yourself
Wait,
if you want.
but the thing is,
And you offended me because it was a sexualized joke in front of me.
yeah, because I'm
And
sorry.
probably you too, so if you're watching this, you know
Yeah.
what, don't complain. Don't
So-
write about it on me too,
Right,
right?
right.
Okay, so anyway, and the point being is we talk about simultaneous existences, and we talk about parallel universes, but we talk about it based on hyperspace, not on things that are meant to distract you. So people who are writing to me, do your research, do this, do that, I think you have not a clue about what we're about.
No.
So you
they
need to
don't.
read our stuff, and then you'll find out what we're about, and then you can make a comment. But until you know who and what we are, don't comment.
Yeah. Okay. Back to me now.
Back to you? Yeah,
me.
more?
Yeah. Well, I want to just make
Go
a
ahead.
statement here. Is that, as you know, I was traveling a bit during my birthday week, which is not unusual for me. I always miss my birthday.
Why didn't miss your birthday?
Well, I did
that
miss
would mean
my
like you were
birthday.
dead.
Well, I wasn't here, was I?
But you didn't miss it.
Which, by the way, you went to movies and dinners. Like, you had a nice time on my birthday without me.
I did.
Thanks a lot.
But I thought about you.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Anyway, I want to thank all the people who did help, well, not help me, but gave me birthday parties. For example, in Poland, wonderful time in Poland, wonderful food. Thank you, people in Poland. I'm not going to name names, but you know who you are. And then Belgium. Wonderful friends took me out to a steakhouse in Belgium. I didn't know they had steakhouses in Belgium.
I thought they only had chocolate houses in Belgium.
Well, they had that too.
But I would have gone to a chocolate house.
And they had really good Belgian beer, which is better than Dutch beer. I'm sorry, but it's true. And thank you, people in Belgium. You know who you are. And then in Tampa, the great seminar I did there, amazing investiture. And I was named the Sacred Medical Order Knights of Hope ambassador to all of Europe. Was a surprise given to me after the investiture. I was quite shocked.
Wow, I'm shocked too.
And then,
Is Europe shocked?
and that wasn't enough, then I was given the first medallion Templar cross for the new Templar order,
Where is
which
it?
will be initiated in Nevis on New Year's Eve.
Where is it?
It's put away because I can't trust you with it.
So you have to wait till we go to Nevis to actually see it?
Well, maybe next week, if you ask me nice, I'll wear it. I have a whole bunch of things now. I have the Hospitaller, the Templar, the Knights of Hope. I walk, like my head's bent forward because I can't keep my head up with all those chains around me.
Yeah.
And it will be, we're going to have an office in the United Nations. and it's going to be quite something.
Yeah, so we are moving along. So if you want to know more, remember we will be on the island of Nevis in the healing frequency of Atlantis, December 28th through January 3rd. You can find the details on our website. You can join us. The hotel is only holding rooms for our group until November 17th.
Right.
And we also have people already telling us they are being challenged to find flights because it's high season.
And plus, many of the airports were
Right.
destroyed, so a lot of the flights have had to be canceled.
Right, so
I do recommend that you look for flights through Miami, Charlotte, New York, and possibly St. Martin. Actually, the airport is now under a tent.
oh,
There's no, because the airport was destroyed.
right.
So now they have a tent, but it's operational.
But it's operational. That's what is important. And the interesting thing is we already have people registered coming from all over the world.
Yes.
So, and we're going to be giving a couple of lectures there, and we're going to be getting information from the Jade Center there, which is another healing clinic with
Yes.
they have 6,000 patients. So we are very excited for everything that's happening on the island of Nevis,
Yes,
and
and-
for our part in it as well.
I also met the general director, the general who's in charge as a director of the Dominican Republic military, who's very nice to me. I also, and of course, I know the health minister. She introduced me to him.
Of the Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic, and I met the Cuban ambassador, which I met also in Nevis a long time ago, and then also met the doctor for Raul and Muriel Castro, who have invited me and others to Havana, middle of June 15th and 16th for a conference and investiture in Havana.
So, and that is after my trip to the Italian Cotian Alps to walk the ancient paths of the Waldensians. So we have a lot of exciting things going on here at expansions.com.
And more than that, may I? The
More?
general offered us a building, a military medical building to do our work as a medical school in Santo Domingo. And we were also offered a medical building in Guatemala City, which will expand Pan American University campus to many other physical places in the Latin American
Yes, and with your appointment as a professor to the Pan American University, we are in the process of developing 3 hyperspace oversoul degrees.
area. Yes, for the
Which
medical
we will,
students.
yes, so we will be announcing this here hopefully within the next
2 weeks
few weeks.
before Christmas.
Yeah, so we have lots of exciting things going on. And then as long as I'm telling lies, we'll mention our January class. So 15th through the 19th here in St. Joseph, Michigan. It's our most intense class. So we have people signing up from all over the world. If you want a place, now is the time.
And let me just say
One
that
more?
there will be a chiropractor
yes.
from Australia who is coming with a huge table that I
Called
think
the
is
LifeWave machine,
The
I
LifeWave
think.
machine, which you posted on Facebook.
Yes.
Listen, people, since I had 2 treatments on that, no pain. I really amazing.
Yeah, so
Amazing,
we're very
amazing.
excited. I'm excited because I'm excited to try it. Now, as we teach you, everything happens in the mind first. So these are boosts to the mind pattern. So as we're working on our mind pattern, we're drawing other things to us to support our own health and healing. And
Correct.
of course, it's up to you whether you decide to do the same.
Okay.
Okay?
To your news.
To my news. All right, so my news is always kind of a little bit all over the board, but
Just like you are.
yeah, but I'm going to start off with Trump. And of course, as most of you know by now, he is on one of the longest, or I guess it is the longest overseas trip to Asia and that a U.S. president has ever
I
done.
didn't know that.
Yes. So apparently, his first stop, I
You
guess,
probably
was in
like
Japan.
Chinese food,
Probably. I like Chinese food. But this is Japanese.
but he was in China too.
Well, first he went to Japan.
Yeah.
And he broke precedent because he did not bow to Japan's emperor.
No.
He only nodded his head.
Get out.
Now, what was most interesting to me, it says that in Japan, bowing is an important sign of respect and following local customs,
Yeah.
and helps to strengthen diplomatic relations. Now, the president is usually advised on important customs by the chief of protocol, but guess what?
There wasn't the chief.
There's no chief of protocol, so nobody's
They
telling
should
him
call
what to
me.
do.
I'm an ambassador to Europe.
There you go, but not to Asia.
Yeah, same thing.
And then, when he did go to China, now I've been talking to you about things that are going on in the world and things to watch. Trump is using his granddaughter to groom the Chinese people, and I've been
She sings
reporting
in
on my blogs.
Chinese
Yep. And even when I was visiting my family down in Southwest Missouri, they said that the Chinese are buying up real estate
They're
all
buying everything
over.
everywhere.
Yes, and people don't know that. They send in other representatives, and when the deal is done, it turns out to be the Chinese. So Trump is using his granddaughter, Arabella, who is now 6, singing in Mandarin and reciting ancient Chinese poetry. And she begins her video, "Hello, Grandpa Xi. Hello, Grandma Peng." Now, I thought that was very interesting. I bet if I saw her, she wouldn't call me Grandma and you Grandpa.
Oh, yeah, she would.
You think so?
Yeah, because you're an old lady.
I thought that was interesting. She has been studying for many years Mandarin Chinese. They have a Mandarin.
I speak Mandarin Chinese.
I know. I heard you tell off of Chinese people in
I did.
Switzerland in Chinese.
Oh, yeah, that was terrible. Yeah.
So I
Well,
know
they
you,
deserved
Joe.
it.
You were yelling and screaming in Mandarin Chinese at them, and they were yelling and screaming at you back.
It was so much fun.
I was I was impressed.
Yeah, good.
Anyway, so as well as the 6-year-old doing that, so are her brothers, Joseph and Theodore, are learning Mandarin. And this was interesting. Theodore. The family always celebrates Chinese New Year. Now, this is a Jewish family. Why are they celebrating Chinese New Year? So
Because
this is,
Chinese and Jews always go together.
they do. So Chinese food on the New Year's
Yeah.
Day. So the thing that's interesting to me, again, like I'm telling you, watch with the trends, because why are they courting the Chinese? They're saying one thing, they're doing another, and these little children are already being schooled to be Chinese diplomats. Then, now, it's freedom of speech here in America, which we've talked about.
There is no such thing here.
This was interesting, too, because there was a woman, 50 years old, Julie Briskman, who flipped off
yeah, I heard about
President
that.
Trump and his motorcade.
Yeah, yeah.
And somebody took a picture of it. The photo went viral.
She
and
was
guess what?
on a bicycle.
She was on a bicycle, and she lost her job. They fired her.
That should be illegal.
Yes, I agree. So that's telling you there's no freedom of
Well,
speech.
I hope she sues them and wins
I
a
hope
lot
so
of
too.
money.
But if we ever hear, who knows? But I thought that was interesting. And now remember, I'm also telling you to watch out for buzzwords, because this is how they set you up. So here's a few buzzwords
Give me
in
a
my
buzzword.
opinion. Here's the buzzword: unicorn. Guess who they're calling a unicorn now?
Is it a person?
Yeah, you probably looked at my notes.
I
You know.
didn't. I
Okay.
can't see it.
Actually,
my eyes are blurry.
they're called Melania Trump. They likened her to a unicorn.
I
Now-
can see that.
And apparently, there's a journalist, a CNN journalist, who follows her around, and she refers to Melania as, quote, a real mystery with the First Lady.
Oh.
She said, I sometimes call her the unicorn because people are fixated by her. So I thought that was very odd. You know, why would they call her the unicorn? As they want this word out
Maybe because
there.
of the heels, like if she put a shoe on her head.
No, but a
she'd have
unicorn has,
a horn
I mean,
coming
she
out.
has 2 shoes. You know, this is only one thing. So a unicorn. Then this was, this is an imprint of the public. Because, you know, they've been talking about, you remember Michelle Obama, and probably you're not as aware of this as maybe the ladies in the audience, but they always talked about Michelle Obama as being like a fashion icon.
Oh, please.
And then which, you know, I agree with you.
From
but
where?
Then they said that Melania could not even compare to Michelle
Oh,
Obama.
you kidding me? Do they have eyeballs?
So,
Oh, yeah. You know, that noise that you're hearing is remember I told you on my blog, if you read my blog.
those are the people we have tied up in the basement who are
No.
being tortured.
Because over the years, because of earthquakes and blizzards and things, the brick walkway in front of our house has shifted. So they had to take all the bricks off. And because now it's like freezing, freaking cold outside, and lake effect snow is coming tonight, they have to hurry up and fix the bricks before it snows and freezes really hard.
Okay, so that's in the
So
background.
that's what you're hearing.
I thought it was the people we keep tied up in the basement and
Well,
torture.
I muffled them.
Anyway, so I was telling you about the fashion icons. Michelle Obama was, they said Melania will never be the fashion icon
I
of
disagree.
Michelle
I like
Obama.
Melania's clothes.
So,
I was
So-
going to wear some,
listen to me.
but
So then, from here, that's why I'm setting the background. There's a 29-year-old communications director named Hope Hicks.
Hope Hicks?
Hope, who has been traveling with the entourage to Asia. And at a dinner at Tokyo's Akasaka Palace,
What's your language?
Hope, they said, wore a very chic, a very chic suit.
A chic suit.
Yes. So it was, in order to meet the black tie dress code, she had a black tuxedo with a white shirt and a large black bow tie.
See, I don't like when women wear men's clothing.
I agree. But they're saying now how chic this was. But Melania, they said, oh my God, she said Hope, and usually they refer to people their last name, but this time only her first, Hope's androgynous style.
Oh, there you go.
was just overshadowed Melania because she had a bright red floor-length gown with short sleeves for the occasion. So they're saying that the chic suit surpassed Melania in her bright red
Now listen
floor-length
to
gown.
me. Melania may not be a brainiac, but she knows how to dress.
Well, her people know how to dress her. But point being is, they are imprinting you now that a power person. And the other thing is Melania had her hair done up, like in a low thing with diamond earrings, and this woman left her hair down. The other thing that was interesting to me is because they say Melania has a double.
Everybody has a double.
No.
A triple even.
No. A purposeful double, so she's not always the president.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So when they had her hair down, dressed like that, I thought, this could be Melania's double, and that's
Well, they denied it. They denied that.
Well, of course, they're always going to deny it. And then this was also interesting because we talked about the red tie of Trump and the blue tie of Trump.
Yes, yeah.
And so they made a point of saying.
I forgot which one was which.
They made a point of saying that President Trump, on his first official visit to Asia, stuck to his classics with a black suit, although he did trade his trademark red tie for a blue one.
So that means he's the real one or the fake one?
I can't remember, but it was just interesting to me
think
that
the
they
red
made
one
a
is
point
him.
of it. And the blue one is fake?
Yeah, I think so.
So it was just interesting they made a point of mentioning the ties. So
that's not really him then. That's why he didn't bow.
And Hope is that's probably true. And Hope, why do they reuse her first name and why is it Hope? That's probably not even her name. But they wanted to get out the androgynous thing, that women should wear suits, that Melania doesn't know anything about style. It's really very odd. Again,
That's
what's up
stupid.
is down and down is up. They're really mixing up people's brains.
Who cares about what they wear anyway?
And speaking of because the women will follow that, that's why. And then what your clothes represent your mind pattern, and then again, one world mind pattern, easier to control. So speaking of all of that, the attack that occurred in New York when the man
the
from
truck attack.
the Uzbek immigrant was accused of killing 8 people when he drove a rented pickup truck down a riverside bike trail, crushing pedestrians and cyclists in support of the Islamic State, according to this article. His sister, who was interviewed from Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan, said that her brother was brainwashed.
Well, duh.
She said that she and her family were shocked to see the brother sporting a long beard after his 2013 marriage, and she told Radio Free Europe in an interview that her family believed that her brother had been brainwashed.
I believe her.
She said, "We don't know who has brainwashed him. Perhaps he's become part of some organized group. I don't know honestly how long it will take for his head to get rid of that poison, but I'm sure he will come to his senses."
Not until you'll see he will die mysteriously in prison.
But they are telling you now that people are being brainwashed to do these things, so bit by bit. And then from our friend Richie Allen comes this story about a Roman temple, blood-soaked Roman temple. Remember New World Religion here.
Yes, underneath London. What a surprise.
Yeah, and what's a surprise is, I'm sure they talked about this being unearthed actually back in the Blitz.
Yeah, the Germans blew up a building and it appeared.
Yeah, supposedly. So what else is buried underneath
lot.
London, right?
A lot.
But they have restored this now. 1800 years ago, this accordingly was built for legionnaires, slaves, and merchants who worship the god Mithras.
It comes from Persia.
And this is going to be London's latest tourist attraction.
Isn't it interesting that is underneath this central city of London?
Yes, and remember, the city of London is like Washington, D.C. It has a different
Just 1 square mile.
jurisdiction than the U.S., than the U.K. It is its own city-state.
That's right.
Just like the Vatican. And this lies under Queen Victoria Street, 23 feet below. This is London's greatest Roman temple, is what they're calling it. They give you all these details, like how do they know this, right?
The sweaty Roman legionnaires.
Yes. Right, worship the ancient Persian god Mithras.
Well, by the way, Jesus was based on that.
Oh.
He was born December 25th.
Supposedly.
Of a virgin birth.
Yeah.
Oh, have we ever heard that before?
New worshippers, male only, were made to stand naked in the middle of the temple. And all these naked people are still coming out on our news. In fact, there was just a thing today I read. There were 5 naked people crashed into a truck. And they don't know what happened. They think maybe...
Well, that's in Canada, wasn't
They think maybe alcohol and drugs were
Oh, you
involved.
think?
But why are they naked? So,
Yeah.
the new worshippers, male only, were made to stand naked in the middle of the temple. As part of a blood-curdling ritual, they were given the impression they were about to be killed.
I would think so.
A naked new recruit, why do they always want everybody to be naked? A naked new recruit would kneel down while a long-term member stood above him with his sword raised, as if to slice off the head and other new members were threatened by archers. And then, to make it look like other members had already been mutilated, one had a ceremonial sword piercing straight through his neck, but when they looked at it, it was a collar, so it looked like
This
the
was in
sword.
Roman times.
Yes, but how do they know all this, and why are they bringing this out, right?
Yeah.
And then they claim, and this is underneath the ground, remember. They started to
What they
restore
do
it
with these
above the
naked
ground.
people.
They don't really tell you. But then they said, then they changed it to a temple to Bacchus, the Roman god of wine.
Right.
And then
That's my favorite god.
they go back and say, but now we're leaving it underground for people to visit. And it says it was windowless, lit by torches, artfully placed behind statues of the god, with the illumination reflected in a square well. Burning incense happened. Over it all stood a huge statue of Mithras, staring up at the sun, surrounded by signs of the zodiac as he slaughtered an effigy of a bull. And where else do we see bull? On Wall Street. And now we have one beneath the city-state of London, right? And
that was a ritualistic symbol, the bull.
yes, a huge... this is beneath the European headquarters of Bloomberg, the financial information company. So we have a bull on Wall Street. We have a bull now underneath this company, and I'm sure that they knew that. The bull slaughter, called Tauroctony, was thought to signify creation, transformation, our place in the universe, and worship of sun and moon. And they're calling this the New London Mithrarium, which opens next week. And it's Latin for a Mithras temple. So now they're getting you to go underground to these ritualistic temples. So I bet more of these things are going to be exposed. And speaking of blood, there's an article which I've kind of talked about before about blood transfusions, which can keep people perpetually youthful. And they talked about giving blood from young people to old people to make them rejuvenate.
Oh.
But now they're taking that a step further. They're saying that rather than old blood being, or rather than the young blood being the thing, they're saying that right now that health declines after about 7 decades. So they want to extend the productive plateau by filtering out pro-aging factors, whatever that means. So they're still looking at blood, but they're going to do it a different way now to try and get you to rejuvenate. So they're not going to make you run marathon, they said, but maybe live a few more decades without critical illnesses.
Okay, I'll do that.
And then scientists are implanting tiny human brains inside of rats
What the hell for?
to give them enhanced intelligence. Now, remember what I told you.
Oh, that explains all the rats that we've seen in our lives.
I have told you that they are going to blend human and animal genetics,
They already did.
but they're doing it more. In fact, they're saying now, because they're bringing it all out in the open, that there were 2 scientists, I guess they don't say how many, 2 papers that were presented at the annual meeting of the Society for Neuroscience in Washington, D.C. And they say that this move will one day give animals a consciousness, and meaning that they will have to be respected in the future.
So you could have like a rat UPS driver delivering something.
They said, yes, they said that it could become an intelligent hybrid organism.
Of course.
And you weren't here last week, and maybe you heard about this, where that robot in Saudi Arabia, Sophia, I can't remember which one it was granted Saudi citizenship.
No.
Yes.
I didn't know about that.
Yes, I reported on that last week.
Robot?
Yeah, a robot.
Saudi Arabia?
The first,
They don't let anybody.
the first one in the whole world who is now a citizen. Yes. I thought that was interesting. Now we're talking about animals, which I've been telling you about. And superhumans, I've been telling you about this one as well. Colonel, which is the name of a firm, I think in the UK, but I'm not positive. But Brian Johnson is the owner of that, is working on a microchip to be implanted in the brain to create a new breed of superhumans in 15 years.
Only 15 years.
I'm sure it's already done. But he claims that he's working on this to help with epilepsy patients, Alzheimer's, and he's calling this, interestingly enough, not a chip now, it's called a prosthesis. So they're putting a prosthesis in your brain now, not a chip. Now I guess that sounds more, glamorous. And he says that some days, these will not be just for the rich, but they'll be like, everybody can have one, like smartphones.
I think I have one already.
And right now, which was interesting to me, he said the first superhumans are those who have deficits to start with. And that's because those are the people who are going to comply and are most willing to be experimented on. If you're healthy and well, you're not going to say, yeah, experiment on me. But if you have a problem, like that guy, remember, that signed up for the head transplant thing?
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
I'm sure we'll hear more, but it was just very interesting. So anyway, here we go. It just goes on and on and on. The more you hear about it, the more acceptable it becomes, as we've talked to you about it before. And here we go with more sexual stuff. This actually happened back in May, and somebody sent it to me on Facebook, and I missed it at the time, so I was going to report on it because I found it interesting, and I didn't find any updates. But in White County, Tennessee, inmates are now since May given the option of ending their jail sentences early if they voluntarily agree to have a vasectomy or birth control implant.
What's a birth control implant?
Women are given a Nexplanon contraceptive implant in their arm, which can last up to 4 years. That's women. Men, of course, get the vasectomy. Snip, snip, snip.
No, sorry.
Snip.
No, I would never do it.
Snip, snip, snip. Anyway, the thing that kind of got me was they're only given 30 days of credit toward their jail time.
That's it?
I mean, that's a pretty major decision to make.
For 30 freaking days?
Yeah.
Keep it. You get a vasectomy.
So as of May, when this article was written, it said that 32 women received the implant, 38 men are waiting for the vasectomy, and the General Sessions Court judge who signed the order said he made the decision to ensure that inmates would not be burdened with children, hopefully to give them more normal life. But, of course,
Ridiculous.
the ACLU reportedly released a statement calling the program unconstitutional.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
It's
I haven't
immoral
heard anything
anyway.
more, but we'll see what happens. And in Germany. Now, this was interesting because Germany, has got a lot of things going on,
You
right?
think?
Germany has a law that's now being looked at. I'm not sure about the German legal system, so I'm not sure if it's actually
They
passed
don't have legal
or it has passed. But it says once a law is passed, Germany would become the first European country to offer intersex people the option of identifying as a designation other than male or female. Now, intersex, which Stewart and I wrote about in The True Reality of Sexuality.
Yeah, that's not a new thing.
But the intersex isn't. But most intersex people, unfortunately, were mutilated. And we had people write to us on YouTube who are intersex people. They did this privately.
Right.
And they were mutilated without a choice. And so when we wrote this book back in 2002, we talked about the Intersex Society of North America and what they had to say. So, in my opinion, allowing intersex people to have that designation is one thing versus people who are like wannabes.
Right.
So, but, of course, now that everybody was a wannabe, it's going to open it up to other things. So it was interesting to me, in Germany, it said that in 2013, they were the first European country, to allow parents of intersex children to leave the gender box blank on a birth certificate. It was an intersex person who brought this lawsuit forward, and he wants a positive gender entry for these babies. So I don't exactly know what that means, but I went back to the Intersex Society of North America, which I don't think I've really looked at too much since we did this book, because we do quote them quite a bit in here. But just so you know, it says intersex is a general term for a variety of conditions in which a person is born with a reproductive or sexual anatomy that does not seem to fit the typical definitions of female or male. For example, a person might be born appearing to be female on the outside, but having mostly male typical anatomy on the inside.
How could that be?
Well, that's just what happens sometimes. Or a person may be born with genitals that seem to be in between the usual male and female types. Or a person may be born with mosaic genetics, so that some of her cells have XX chromosomes, some of them have YY. So as we talked about before, a true intersex person, sometimes you can't always tell what they are by testing chromosomes. So this is from the Intersex Society site, which is very interesting. They said nature does not decide where the category of male ends and category of intersex begins.
Because they're all androgynous. All beings are androgynous.
Well, the soul is. Humans decide. So typically it's doctors who decide how unusual a combination of parts has to be before it becomes as intersex. So therefore, intersex people say doctors' opinions about what should count as intersex vary substantially. So rather than trying to play a semantic game that never ends, this is a quote from the website, we at ISNA take a pragmatic approach to the question of who counts as intersex. We work to build a world free of shame, secrecy, and unwanted genital surgeries for anyone born with what someone believes to be non-standard sexual anatomy. It says this was from their website, which I found interesting, some forms of intersex signal underlying metabolic concerns. So a person who thinks he or she might be intersex should seek a diagnosis and find out if he or she needs professional health care. And then if you ask experts at medical centers how often a child is born, so noticeably atypical in terms of genitalia, that a specialist in sex differentiation is called in, it's approximately 1 in 1,500 to 1 in 2,000 births. So these are people who really are, in my opinion, more androgynous.
Well,
so
they
to
are.
me, they would have more of a balanced soul, wouldn't you think?
Well,
Yes?
yes.
Because that's what the body is out picturing. Not the wannabes, but these are people that truly are intersex. And then we want to remember that back in 2014, the Australian High Court ruled that the government should legally recognize a third gender, which to me should be true intersex people, which can be basically medically substantiated. And California became the second state in the U.S. after New York this year to allow state residents who don't identify as male or female to change their birth certificates to match their gender identity. So there's a big difference between what you identify as and what you were born with. So if you have any serious questions, I really think you should visit this intersex site.
But chromosomal tests could determine the actual gender.
No, they can't. Not in intersex people. Not according to what we wrote about back in 2002 in my research. Chromosomal tests cannot always determine. That's the issue with intersex people. That's why I say, to me, these people are the real androgynous people. And of course, anybody who's different is going to have a problem in this society. You and I have plenty of issues with people throwing stuff at us, and we have all our life simply because we're different. We have a different lifestyle. We have a different belief system.
Because I'm pretty and they're jealous.
That's right. So there you go. So we understand what that's like to stand out and be a little bit different. But there are some people who are legitimately that, and I want to make that point.
Okay.
Okay, and then also we have a lot of interest lately, and because they're working on, especially on our blogs, on programming triggers and how to stay in your center and be who and what you are, not what other people tell you to be. 13 Cubed is gaining popularity. It's a great book of case studies if you're interested. So, and health and healing, always, we all need that. Hyperspace Helper, Hyperspace Plus, Healing Archetypes and Symbols. People are loving these books. True World History, been hidden from you. We bring this galactic history. If you're interested in galactic history, this is a classic, Blue Blood, True Blood. True World History, the latest history book, which is really great. We will have classes based on these books that are coming up at the Pan American University, and great gift books. This one, Stewart Says, Affirmations, we all need that. White Owl Legends, Archetypal Story of Creation is fantastic, and Basic Decoding Your Life, Universal Law. So these two books right here, if you're wondering where to start, because we have a lot of information. A membership, please, less than $1 a day. That you can do, explore our work, and don't just comment without knowing what our work is, please, because our work has spanned decades. So
don't make me come over there.
Hyperspace Helper, Decoding Your Life, start here if you're looking for a place to start. Okay, anything else? Like our Facebook pages, like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell us your thoughts, because it's interesting to know if you send us messages privately on YouTube, we cannot share those publicly. So
no, and so what you haven't done in a very long time is send in questions to customersupport@expansions.com. One question about what you'd like me to report on or answer for you on this podcast.
Okay, so let me tell you something. People did that.
Yeah.
But they sent them to YouTube. They did not send them to customer
I
support at
said-
expansions.com.
Well, they didn't pay attention, did they?
Right. So we do have a Q&A blog on our membership site where you can ask all the questions you want of Stewart and I, and we read them and we answer what's appropriate to the general membership. Okay? For this is YouTube. So what do you think? If they send it to YouTube, you want to pick up the question and
No,
answer
I
it?
said customer support, period.
There you go.
You don't send it there, I'm not answering you.
Okay, so customer support expansions.com if you want him to talk about something here on this channel. Anything else?
Well, come to Nevis.
Yeah.
Big stuff going on.
Yeah, we're very excited.
In
We're
fact, there's a meeting today that should just be about over now that could change the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, well, remember, Nevis is in the Atlantean healing frequency. So, and what are they trying to do? They're trying to raise up the lost continents, right?
And it is.
And so we are there working on the frequency in a positive way
Yes.
to uplift and enhance, right?
Uplift
And
and
enhance.
separate.
There you have it.
There you have it, people. There
Talk to
have
you
it.
next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.